You know what happens when a woman thinks she has you locked in? When she believes, truly believes, that no matter what she says, no matter how she treats you, no matter how far she pushes your limits, you'll still stay? She becomes reckless. She becomes entitled. And worst of all, she stops respecting you. Every man has seen it, that shift. In the beginning, she looks at you with fire. Later, she looks at you with comfort. Eventually, she looks past you. Like your background noise, like you're a couch she can yell at or sit on, depending on her mood. And every man knows the moment his value starts to rot inside a relationship. It's when she stops fearing one thing, your truth. Because there are words, brutal words, honest words, that every woman secretly prays she never hears from a man. Not because they hurt her feelings, but because they expose her reality. Today I'm giving you the first and most devastating one. A sentence so sharp it slices through every inflated ego, every manipulation tactic, every princess fantasy she's built around herself. It's the moment a man finally steps out of the fog, stands straight, looks her dead in the eyes, and says, "You don't impress me anymore." Not yelled, not emotional, not angry, just calm, steady, matter of fact. Because nothing terrifies a woman more than realizing the spell she thought she had over you evaporated. Women can handle conflict. They can handle arguments. They can handle drama. But they cannot handle your indifference. And the second you tell her she no longer impresses you, it hits her like a cold shower. Because every woman, no matter how confident, successful, attractive, or independent, runs on one deep instinct. I must matter to the man I want. Take that away, and everything collapses. I've seen this countless times. A woman who spent months controlling the dynamic suddenly stutters. The girl who rolled her eyes at him yesterday is now asking if he's okay. The same woman who told him he's lucky to have her becomes terrified that she's the one about to get left behind. Because behind every attitude, every power play, every eye roll, every silent treatment, every manipulative test, there is a primal fear. What if he stops wanting me? And when a man finally speaks those words, not as a threat, not as a tactic, but as a revelation of truth, it shatters the little kingdom she built in her mind. Women expect you to fight, argue, chase, prove, plead, work harder. They expect emotional chaos. What they never expect is a man who simply stops being impressed. Because once she's no longer special in your eyes, she loses the only power she ever had. And trust me, she feels that loss like a punch straight to the soul. Here's the part nobody warns men about. When you stop being impressed, she doesn't get calm. She gets scared. Not the cute kind of scared. The existential kind. The kind that makes her rethink everything she thought she knew about you. Because the moment a woman senses she's losing emotional leverage, her entire behavior shifts. At first, she pretends not to care. She'll get colder, sharper, more sarcastic. She'll try to act like your indifference doesn't affect her. But pay attention to what comes right after. That false confidence cracks. Suddenly, she starts asking questions she never asked before. Are we okay? Did I do something? You seem different. Why are you acting like this? And here's the twist. She's not asking because she cares about the relationship. She's asking because she cares about her position in your life. Women fear losing a man's interest far more deeply than they fear losing the man himself. Why? Because if she loses you, she can replace you. But if she loses the ability to affect you, she loses the one thing her ego depends on. That's why your indifference terrifies her. Not because she loves you more, but because she realizes she's losing her grip on the emotional steering wheel. But watch what happens next. This is where it gets interesting. This is where the female psychology becomes painfully transparent. She suddenly becomes nicer. Her tone softens. Her attitude melts. She laughs at your jokes again. She reaches for you in bed without expecting anything in return. She compliments you, something she hasn't done in months. She puts effort into her appearance around you. Not because she misses you, but because she fears she's no longer the center of your world. A woman will tolerate arguments. She'll tolerate tension. She'll tolerate disagreements. But she cannot tolerate losing influence. And when she senses that you're slipping out of her emotional orbit, she starts fighting for your validation the same way you once fought for hers. But here's the part that truly breaks her. She doesn't know how to handle a man who doesn't need her. Women can predict angry men. They can predict needy men. They can predict jealous men. But the man who stays calm, composed, centered, self-reliant, he's the one she never trained for. Because when you stop being impressed, you stop being predictable. And nothing scares a woman more than a man she can't control. Here's where the game flips completely. Not when you pull away a little, not when you slow down texts, but when she finally realizes something she never thought possible. You're no longer afraid of losing her. And that realization doesn't just shake her, it undoes her. Because a woman can handle almost anything, your anger, your silence, your mistakes, your flaws, but she cannot handle a man who has emotionally outgrown her. Watch what happens the moment she senses that shift. The same woman who once rolled her eyes when you spoke, now listens carefully. The same woman who dismissed your feelings, now wants to talk. The same woman who acted bored when you kissed her, suddenly becomes clingy, touchy, more affectionate than you've seen in months. Why? Because women don't chase men. They chase certainty. And when you remove certainty, she chases you. But the most shocking transformation happens internally. She starts questioning herself in ways she never has before. Was I too harsh? Did I take him for granted? Is he texting someone else? Why doesn't he react to me anymore? And here's the twist. She's not jealous of other women. She's jealous of your freedom. Because the moment she sees you living without her emotional approval, she realizes something horrifying. You were never the one who was weak. She was just the one who underestimated you. And that's when panic kicks in. That's when she starts over-accommodating, offering to cook, offering to help, offering to work on things, offering to talk, apologize, reconnect, reset. And if you look closely, you'll see something she'd never admit. She's afraid you've tasted peace without her, and she knows you might not come back. That fear is the exact fear you lived with for months. Now it's hers, and she can barely hold it together. The dynamic has turned, the crown has cracked, and now she's trying to rebuild the attraction she destroyed. But here's what she doesn't understand. Once a man sees that he can survive without her, he never unsees it. Once a man discovers his own value, he never lowers it again. And once you stop needing her validation, she becomes terrified of losing yours.
Here's the part no woman expects. Not even the strongest, the most confident, the most "I don't need a man" type. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop defending, stop chasing, stop absorbing the blows she throws just to test your strength, she finally meets the version of you she never believed existed. Not the soft man she could manipulate, not the emotional safety net she could fall on, not the predictable good guy she assumed would always be there, but the man she feared losing from the very beginning. And that's when something almost surreal happens. She remembers every moment you showed love, every sacrifice, every time you stayed, every time you chose her, every time you forgave what she would never forgive in you. And the guilt hits her like a brick. Because for the first time, she understands. You were not weak, you were loyal. You were not desperate, you were committed. You were not emotional, you were invested. And now, you're gone emotionally, even if you're physically standing right there. This is the moment every woman fears but will never admit. The moment she realizes she taught you how to live without her. And it terrifies her. It terrifies her because she knows women don't get many chances with men like you. Men who can love deeply and walk away silently. Men who can give everything and reclaim everything. Men who can survive love and grow stronger from the pain. So she tries to resurrect the old version of you. She becomes sweeter, gentler, more feminine, more careful with her words, more intentional with her attention, more afraid to push too far, because she can feel it. The shift, the loss, the coldness, the distance, the emotional independence she never wanted you to have. And here's the craziest part. She's not fighting for you. She's fighting for the version of herself she only felt safe being when she had you. She's fighting for the emotional power she once held. But more than that, she's fighting against the possibility that you might already be happier without her. A woman can handle competition. She can handle jealousy. She can handle another woman in your life. But what she cannot handle is this: you becoming a man she no longer has access to. A man who no longer responds to her chaos. A man who finally sees through the illusion. Because once she realizes she can't control you, she also realizes she can't replace you. There's a moment, one single moment, that every woman hopes never comes. Not the breakup, not the argument, not even the silence. It's the moment you look at her, and she realizes you finally see who she really is. Not the fantasy she sold you, not the sweet version she showed at the start, not the dramatic princess who demanded to be saved, not the fragile girl who just needs reassurance. No. You see the manipulation, the tests, the emotional traps, the drama disguised as passion, the chaos she called love, the disrespect she normalized, the entitlement she carried like a crown. And worst of all, you see how much you tolerated and how little she actually brought to the table. That's the moment she knows it's over. Not because you left, but because you woke up. A woman can recover from a man walking away, but she can rarely recover from a man waking up. Because once your eyes open, you stop responding to the things she used to control you with. Her coldness? You match it effortlessly. Her silence? You enjoy it. Her threats? You laugh. Her emotional explosions? Nothing. Her tears? You don't melt. You don't rush. You don't break. You finally understand something she hoped you'd never figure out. She never had the power. You just never used yours. And here's what makes this hit her deeper than anything you could ever say. You don't hate her. You don't resent her. You don't fight her. You're just done. Done explaining. Done proving. Done apologizing. Done trying to be enough for someone who was never enough for herself. And that is the moment she crumbles. Because nothing terrifies a woman more than losing a man who finally remembers his worth. The man she thought she could replace, she suddenly realizes she can't. The man she assumed would never leave, he already left emotionally. The man she thought would always chase, he's now walking in the other direction without looking back. And here's the final twist, the one that hits her like cold water. You didn't change to hurt her. You changed to save yourself. Your silence isn't revenge. Your distance isn't punishment. Your indifference isn't cruelty. It's healing. It's self-respect. It's a rebirth. She lost the version of you who worshipped her, and now she meets the version of you who doesn't need her. And nothing, absolutely nothing, shakes a woman deeper than that.